Okay, so let us start. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Today is February 9th, right? 2021, and this is CSE1321 lecture section. And then, as usual, so let us see our schedule first. So this week we are in week 5, right? 5th week. Okay, so you see that we are 1/3. We have covered 1/3 of this course. So within the next 2 weeks, this week and next week, we will cover, okay, so about 40% of this course. Okay, so this now at this point we are in the main foundation of programming language. Okay, so we say foundation, that means you have a good foundation in understanding what we discussed in our previous few sections, how to take an input, how to do arithmetic or any kind of operations on data, input data, and especially we discuss how to use selection statements. Selection, if, else if, else if, and then especially switch case statement, right? Okay, then we started with do while and do while loop, right? In our last lecture, we started, right? Do while on. Okay, so today we will cover, we will complete that do while and while loop, and then I think by this week, okay, so, and then we will get another lecture in next week. Then we will complete repetition structure. Okay, and then especially the remainder is that your test 1 is coming on February 18th. So not this Thursday, so next Thursday, okay, not this Thursday, next Thursday, and it will be in D12. So if you log into your D12, you will see that in D12, in the quizzes section, I have already uploaded the quiz. Okay, test 1, and it will okay, so it will start 30 minutes before our lecture start. So our lectures start at 3:30, right? So you can start your test anytime between 3, and you must start before 5:15. You can finish after 5:15. That is not an issue, but you must start before this due time. As long as you start, so before 5:15, you should be good. But I like you, please do not wait for the last minute. Your computer may be restarted. Okay, it may cause an issue. So on that day, there will be no test, but I will be online. Okay, and I will be checking if there is any major issue. Okay, so I think there will not be any issue, but okay, so in our next lecture, we will review test 1, okay? Okay, and let us see. So then I will check if the quiz grades are published. Quiz was last. Quiz 3. I see they are published. Okay. Yes. Okay, I will check, publish the feedback. You should be able to see. Okay, after the class I will. But if you cannot see it, please send me an email tonight or tomorrow, okay? I will check. It should be. So it should be. Since I'm recording, I will not go to these sections. Okay, later after my class, I will go there. Okay, so let's go to our resource page, and open the resource that I discussed in our last lecture. So you see that we discussed in our last lecture module 4 until this page, until do while. Okay, so we have here in okay. So let us do a quick review before we go to our next section. So what we discussed in our last lecture, that unless otherwise stated, all of the statements in a program are executed one by one, starting from the beginning and from up to down, right? So, but sometimes we may need to execute some statements more than one time. So instead of copying and pasting same code again and again, okay, we can using a for loop or while loop or loop control statement to execute the statement again multiple times. Or later we will see that there are more efficient way. There is another efficient way by using method. We can do that, but for now we discussed that there are some loop control statements that are used for those purposes. Mainly their purpose is that to execute some statements again and again multiple times, right? So there are some loop control statements. One of them is called is while loop. Okay, the format of while loop is that there is a condition given. There may be multiple conditions given. So if there are multiple conditions, all of these conditions will be combined together to give a Boolean condition. To make a Boolean condition that will give either true or false value. So based on the result of this condition, either true or false, right? If the result is true, then this statement right after the while body will be executed. If that is not true, then this statement will not be executed. And as long as this statement is true, it will be continuing this execution. Okay, so it's two things it is doing. We know that if statement did, if that it checks the condition, if the condition is true, then it executes the statement one time only. But while loop, what it says, as long as the condition is true, if it executes or it repeats the execution. Okay, so if it's one time, the while is multiple times. Okay, so if it's a very simple one, and then later we discuss that do while. There is a do while format is an alternative of while format. So in the while statement, what it is done, the condition is checked first. If the condition is true, then the body is executed and repeated. Okay, but if the condition is not true initially, that the body is not executed. So do while, there is an alternative version of do while, that what it does, it executes the statement first time, one time, without checking any condition, but after executing the body, it checks the condition. If the condition is true, then it re-executes the same statement. It repeats. So even the condition is false, then still the body will be, this statement block will be executed one time. Okay, so that means do while ensures that the statement body will be executed at least one time, even the condition is false. Okay, and as long as the condition is false, as long as the condition is true, the looping will be continuing. So there are some few differences that what at least one we learned, that do while will execute the statement first, and then after executing one time, it will check the condition. This is the first basic difference. Okay, Another is there is structural difference that after do while, after while there is a semicolon here. So in the pseudocode for is missing, you should give the semicolon. The semicolon. Okay. And in our last lecture, we discussed that there are many purposes of using do while statement. For instance, right? I discussed with the live program, right? Did I send you a program link that we discussed how to okay, yeah, I send you some programs link. How to reverse a number. Okay, how to reverse a number using C++, C# or Java, and then open link, and then how to add. If you understand this program we discuss, enter a positive number, then we discuss how to reverse a number, how to display the number in opposite direction. Okay, for instance, if I run this program and if I enter a number 524, then it will display, it will give me 425. Okay, so then if you understand this, how to do this, then you will be able to find the sum of the word digit. How many word digits are here? Only one. You can find some of the even digits. Okay, you can find the multiplication of the even digit, multiplication of the word digit, and many more things. So at this point, this will be a good problem for you to explore and to play with. So please play with this program and make some your own problem. Okay, for instance, the initial problem was how to reverse a number. Then we got another problem, how to sum the word digits. Sum of the word digit, how many, or you can find how many word digits over here. Then you can find sum of the word digits, multiplication of the word digit, okay, product of the word digits, or you can find sum of the even digits, right? Multiplication of the even digits, right? Many more things. You can find which digit is the highest digit, highest. Okay, you can find which digit is the highest digit. So here we see that 5 is the highest digit, right? If you trick it, do some practice, you should be able to make your own problem and solve it. As long as you try yourself, you will learn. Okay, so please keep going with this program. Okay, so in our last lecture, you see that I shared this problem in all 3 languages, C++, C#, and Java. Now it is your turn just to practice. The first one was C++, same program I have in Java, and I have same program in C#. So there are some minor differences. Okay, so at this point you should be able to solve this. Okay, has anyone any question about this? Okay, at the beginning of this course and multiple times, I give you a reminder that I'm giving you every week, I'm giving you some homework. But I'm not asking you to turn in the homework to me, right? To submit the homework to me. I'm asking you to turn in the homework to yourself. Please do it, okay? For instance, you should be able to make 4 or 5 different programs by exploring this program, this one single program. Now, while I was doing my PhD, and then my father was a teacher, so he used to tell a story. Now, why do we study? What are the benefits that we are working too hard, right? Sometimes we are spending hours after hours, night after night, right? What is the benefit? There are many people in this world who did not study, who did not even go to school or college. Okay, they are successful. Many of them are successful, right? They are making a lot of money. They are riding on luxurious car, right? They are enjoying like their lives maybe better than us, right? But what is the benefit for us that we are doing so much uh, hard work? Okay. In my opinion, you may not agree with me, but in my opinion, just the study and the hard work we are doing, just to sharpen our brain or strengthen our brain, right? So as an example, I see that if we push to a wall, right, using our thumb, using our hand or our fingers will be broken, right? If we do it, our fingers will be broken, okay? But if I have a pistol or rifle, and if I click one single click, then the wall will be broken. Because the rifle or bullet has strength, power, right? It has more strength than our hands or fingers. So in my opinion, my understanding is that just we are sharpening our brain. As long as you sharpen your brain, you do some hard work, you sharpen your brain, and then whatever you want to do, you will be able to do later. If you want to do politics, you will be successful in your politics, right? If you want to do business, you will be successful in business. If you want to be a programmer, you will be hopefully a good programmer, right? Do you have any opinion, sir? Okay, thank you. Okay. So in this course, we need to spend some time and make some effort, right? So that thing that whatever I'm covering, I'm done. I cannot do more than this for you. Can I do? Can I practice for you? No, I cannot practice for you. So if you do not practice, what will happen in the test? You will recall it superficially. Maybe half or 50% or 60% you will recall, but you will not be able to answer your test question completely. Then you will get stuck. And here, in order to get an A, you need to get 90%, right? 90% is too high. Still, right? If you do some minor, if you leave one questions, then you have a chance that you will go down to 90%, right? So you must get 80% or above for this course. The test one will be comparatively easy. Okay? Please review my previous lectures and then recall whatever I discussed, then you will be good in test one. And also I will discuss in our next lecture. Or even time to time, during our lecture, I will give you some hints about test questions, or I will review. Okay. So that's it we discussed in our last lecture about do while and while up to while. Okay, but today we will learn another loop control statement that is called for loop. Okay, for loop is widely used. For loop is widely used, but we did not start it at the beginning because it's easy to understand while loop, because it is more similar with if condition. So for loop is widely used. It has three parts. For loop has four parts actually. First part is initialization, that is done only one time at the beginning of the for loop. And there is another condition part. There will be semicolon over here, not colon. Okay, there is a condition over here. This will be a condition like we do check in if and while. Same Boolean condition will be here. Okay, and there will be an increment or decrement of the loop counter. That means how many times this loop will be continued. So increment or decrement loop counter. Okay, and then there is a statement block. As long as this condition is true, this statement block will be repeated. Okay, so as I mentioned that it has at least this, there are three parts here in the for loop header. Okay, so for in pseudocode format you need to write for, a for all in uppercase, and then end for. And then here we need to do initialization. That is done only one time. So initialization, since it is done only one time, you can do it before the for loop. You can do it here. You can do it above the for loop. In that case, you can keep it blank, but you still need to give this semicolon. If you keep it blank, that means if you initialize it here before start for loop, still you need to keep this space and you need to give this semicolon. Okay. Similarly, the condition can be checked within for loop, but you usually, that is a difficult part, we usually may not be covered this one. Okay, and increment or decrement is done over here. That may be done within the for loop. So even if you do not do your increment or decrement here, still you need to give this semicolon and you need to keep this empty space here. Should keep. So that means, and then even if you, sometimes you will see that there is nothing in the for loop, just three semicolons. That's two semicolons, that means three parts. One part, two part, three parts. It is also for loop. That means the first part will be done before this, is done before this. Middle part will be done inside the for loop, and this part, next part will be done in the for loop, within for loop body. It is possible. In that case, so there are, I see that I told you that there are different format. So some of this part may be missing within the for loop header. Okay, so don't confuse that. So if it is missing, then look this part at the beginning, before the for loop start. If this part is missing, search for this within the for loop. If this part is missing, search this within the for loop statement body. So it looks a little bit complicated, right? But you will see that this is easy, not that much difficult. And we frequently use for. Very frequently use for. Maybe I use for more than I use while. Writing for loop is easy. Okay. So this is a comparative structure between while and this is for loop. You see that while, so for loop you can put the initialization I said before, or you can put in within, and increment you can put within the body or after the body or before the body, no problem. So as long as a condition is given here, and since in the while loop condition is given here. Okay, so this condition will check, okay, how long the counter, you call the counter, that means the controller, there is a variable that controls this for loop is true. As long as the counter is true, it executes the for loop value. Okay, so everything we can write using while loop can be done using for loop, but not with everything. But so and vice versa, everything you can do with for loop can do with while loop, but it may not be true for do while. So we are comparing for loop with while. Everything you can do for loop, you can do that using while loop, or everything you can do while loop, you can do the for loop. So here you see that in while loop, how do? We initialize the counter before while start, and the for loop we usually put this counter within the body, so it should be semicolon here. Don't mislead it, please. And this arrow sign, this means you can give it plus, equal sign, or you can say counter plus plus over here. You can say counter plus plus, or count plus plus counter, both are same thing. Okay, so Their structure are different, but they do same thing. So this is an example. This is a pseudocode format in while loop. For instance, we have our counter, integer type counter, and we are initialized at 1, and then we are checking as long as the counter is less than or equal to 1000. And then we are incrementing counter by 1. So we are say counting, we will say how many times we will be counting. So if the program is not interrupted by other side, then it will be executed how many times? How many times it will be executed? Can anyone please tell me? Okay, starting from 1 to greater or equal to 1000. That means 1000 times. Starting from 1. Okay, 1 to 10 equal to 10, right? So are you discussing here? Okay, now is okay. Understand? Okay. So it will be 1000 times. But if you give only less than here, it will be 999 times. Has anyone any questions so far?
Yes, Professor.
Yes.
So if counter equals 1, it'll print 999 times.
Up to yes.
Okay, thank you.
But if you get equal sign, then 1000 times, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Then if you get less than here, and if you start counter equal to 0, then how many times? How many times now?
I would say 1000 or a 0, I'm not sure.
If you try yourself, you need to be sure.
It's 1000.
You will not understand the thing. Okay. So it will first start with 0, right? So let us make it easier. So let us make it 10, less than equal to 10. Just I deleted some zeros, okay? These are identical, right? So how many times it will be executed? 1 for 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and last one will be 9. 0 to 9 equal to 10 times. Understand?
Yes.
Okay, but 0 to 9 equal to 10, and 1 to 9 equal to 9, but 1 to 10 equal to 10. Yes. So it is for the new programmer, maybe it will be a little bit confusing, okay? So, but we need to be careful about the boundary point. This is the boundary, right? Boundary is starting and ending. So I think in math, you understand intervals, right? Give me 1 second, please. Have you heard interval in math? Intervals and boundary points. So for instance, here I have number line. This is when I have 0, 1, 2, dot, 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 maybe 10. Okay. So in this case, I will say 1 is included. So we write in math, we close this, right? We put a solid circle over here. That means 1 is included here, right? And then 10, since if it is included, then we put solid. We put solid. But if it is not included, for instance, if it is not included, if it is less than 10, then what we do, we keep this this as not solid, hollow circle. Okay, that means this means this 1 is included but 10 is excluded. Okay, since this is an integer number, so the greatest number in this case will be 9, right? Okay. So the following few slides show how this counter variable increment and how many times it will be executed. I showed this like with a for loop, right? Same thing. Okay, so you may try yourself. Okay, you may try yourself, but the last one I see. So when at this point I will be 999, right? Counter will be 999. So then what will be next? Boundary value. What will be the next iteration? In the next iteration, the counter value will reach to 1000, right? So then what is 1000? Is it equal 1000 or not equal? Equal, right? So that it will work, still it will work for one more time. Still it will be printing for 1000. Still it will be printing 1000. And after printing 1000, so this value counter will be 1001, right? So then what will happen when it becomes 1001? So then this statement will be false, right? Is 1001 less than or equal 1000? No, false, right? So then it will not go to this loop. It will not enter into the loop. And that's it. So, okay. This, I'm giving you another activity. So please practice this slide, okay? Please practice that. This is the code snippet. It has, I think I discussed pretty same thing in our, maybe in another lecture, but I'm giving this code, it's working code. I like you to spend some time to understand the effect of plus operators. This is called prefix notation, and this is called postfix notation. So we discussed that in a prefix notation, it first increments the value and then uses the incremented value right away. But in the postfix notation, it uses its old value. After using its old value, it increments it by 1. That incremented value will be used for next time. Okay, so this is called postfix notation and this is called prefix notation. So for this case, the prefix notation is notable. That means it has some effect. This is prefix and postfix notation in the program output, but this does not have any effect. You can write either this or this, it will give you same result. So prefix and postfix notations always do not affect program code, but sometimes. So I like you to have good understanding, a solid understanding about this, the prefix notation, postfix notation, and where in which case these are effective and which case these are negligible. Okay, so please some practice. Okay, do some practice. Just copy and code, write a program, and then copy and paste this code within the program, and just change the print within a print statement. Right? It's easy. Then see the output and try to understand the output. So although the next slides has the output, I like you not to see the output first. Just trace your program. Okay, try to understand, and then compare your understanding and result. You can read your write your output on a piece of paper. Then run the program. Okay, then compare your handwritten output and with your program output, and check what is wrong. In your program code, there is wrong in your program code, or in your there is something wrong in your understanding. Okay, but if you need help, then please feel free to ask me. Okay. Has anyone any questions so far? Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so far I understand your question that you are telling that what will be the effect for this statement, right? Look at this slides. Are you asking about this effect of this statement? So maybe you are asking what will be the effect? What will happen if I give this one postfix notation or this one prefix notation, right? This will be same, nothing, no change. Okay, then this one I could give this statement here. So right after here, I could give here increment or decrement. It usually comes here, right? But in order to show you an exception, I put it here. It's my slide. I wrote this slide. And yes, it works. And here, usually this statement, it can be put over here. Same thing you can put over here. Then in int, then you can put over here. It will work, same thing. So then counter you can declare here also. Okay. In some books, text it will call index variable that counts. Index is used to count, right? It is sometimes it's called index, or maybe you can say counter, whatever you say. So or some people say shortcut I for index. So that means it is in our original slide, it was not given over here, but it was given here to mention you that it does same thing. So now please tell me what is your question actually about. Did you understand? Third part, like this part, right? Missing here, right? Okay, I put this part here. You can put this part here. Bring same thing. It will happen same thing. So in this case, for loop and while loop, the postfix, this is postfix and this prefix will have no effect, because we mentioned that prefix notation it uses the prefix notation it first increments and uses the increment value here. Okay, but postfix notation, you may understand this by using postfix. Postfix notation it will use its old value and it will after using old value it will increment y. So but since we are not printing counter here in this loop, right? We are just maintaining it for our loop as a loop counter. And one thing is that since the loop counter is incrementing in this statement and these are different statements, meanwhile there are some other statement being executed. So when it comes to the next iteration, it will use the incremental value. You understand, sir? Okay. Yeah, thank you. So since the counter will be used, checked in the next iteration, after every iteration, so then in this case there is no effect on prefix or postfix. Okay, has anyone any other question? Okay, so there is another in-class problem. So, do you like to practice here or at home? So due to pandemic time, I don't like to move around. Otherwise, in previous semester, I gave this kind of activities to a student to try it in class, okay? But I'm giving you to please try it at home, okay? But at any point, if you stuck in your program, please send me the URL. Just repeat URL, okay, of your program. Email me that, okay? Then I will fix it and I will reply to you. And I will help you to fix. Okay. So you have few more slides, and you will see if you go through these slides, you will see there are some good programs, few programs, and then it will help you to understand a few things. For instance, how to display multiplication table. How to display multiplication table, okay? We know the multiplication table, right? Okay, some series number of a series of numbers, okay? So then and many more things, okay? It will help you. So we have few slides, okay? I will give you some example. We'll discuss those some examples, and let us see. We have a few more. We have a few more additional controls, okay, to strengthen our loop control statement and selection statement as well as, okay? First of, we will understand this, okay? First of all, so we need to understand when it fall into an infinite loop. Infinite means, in reality, that means infinite means, like we say, the sky is infinite, right? That is, Earth is, now the universe is infinite, right? But actually, in math or in our real life and programming, we mean infinite number. That means a very, very large number. That is out of our scope, or that is the out of the boundary of our usable value. Okay, so for now, sometime if in our program, if a program may into an infinite loop, so we say an infinite loop, but really it will not follow an infinite loop. Infinite means it will go forever, right? But our program will not go forever. At some point, after a few minutes or a few hours, it will stop. But we say infinite. Okay, so infinite in case happens, for instance, when this our program never reaches to this condition true. So even if I say that, for instance, if we say here counter is initialized as 1, right? Counter is initialized as 1, and then we are checking while counter less or equal to 25. And then we are printing count, while count less or equal to 25, we are printing count. And then what we are doing, within the blue body, we are decrementing the count variable. So what is the effect of this? This decremental effect. So this is a program error. Okay, your compiler will not tell you any error message, will not show you an error message for this. When you run your program, if you debug your program, it will not tell you that there is something wrong here. So can you find out what is wrong here? Yeah. Yeah, so count will never make the while statement false. Right? So how can I make the while statement false? What is the, tell me at least one situation. Then in that case the counter this will be false. Anyone can please tell me one situation that in that case the counter this will be false.
When it equals 26?
Yes. If count equal to 26, then it will be false, right? If count equal to 27, this will be false. Then count equal to 28, it will be false. All other numbers greater than 25, for all other number greater than 25, this will be false, right? So, but in our program code, we'll count ever reach to 26.
No.
No, because instead of increasing it starting from 1, instead of increasing it, we are decreasing, right? We are always decreasing it. So it will never reach to 26 or even 25 or even 20, right? So that means this statement will be always false. So that means this statement will be always executed for a long time. So in that case, we can see this is an infinite loop. Has anyone any question?
So, I have a question.
Yeah.
When it comes to count equals 1, we start subtracting from 1?
So we need to consider two things, our initial value and this increment or decrement. We need to consider these two things in order to see that at which point this statement will be false. So for instance, if I start it here from 100, right? Then at this point it will reach to 25, right? It will decrement, it will be less than 25, right?
Mm-hmm.
It will be false at some point.
Yeah.
Right? So it will be first time it will be 100, then 99, then a 98, then 27, 26, and then when it becomes 25, right?
Yeah.
So since our initial condition it says 1, and then it is decreasing, so it will never reach to this condition. So then what was your question? I don't understand.
Oh no, my question was just, is the initial number 1? And it is.
Yeah, it is 1 initially. Okay, so when you debug your trace your code, if you do not find your expected result, then what should you do? You check these things: initial value, then increment and decrement, and then condition. Because the condition will depend on these two statements: initial value and increment or decrement. Okay. So actually it should be semicolon, don't be misled, okay? It will be semicolon. And instead of this, you can write equal sign. Okay, so then we said nested loop. Nested means when sorry, you may have one for loop with another for loop. We may have, as we have seen that, we may have one if statement within another if statement. So inside one is called nested one, okay? The inner one, then outer one. For instance, if you want to do something that requires row and column, the tabular format. For instance, so this in order to display like this type of shape, you need to consider row and column, right? How many rows over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows. Okay, for the first row, it printed only 1 star. In the second row, it printed 2 stars. Third row, it printed 3 stars. And the 10th row, it printed 10 stars. So whenever you consider row and column, so in that case, you need to have nested for loop. One for row and one for column. So later, next week, when we discuss array, and especially two-dimensional array, you will see that we will use nested loop a lot. So for instance, here, we see that this is one for loop and this is another for loop. So this is called inner for loop. So okay, this is called inner for loop. and the outside one is called outer for loop. This is outer for loop. So the rule is that inner for loop it start fast, so it start later but it ends fast. Outer for loop it start fast but it ends later. Okay, so whenever we do give some online order, for instance Amazon order, right? When you see that when you get a shipment, so if we have an item, so you see that our item is packed in a packet in a box, and that box is put in another large box, right? So how the box are wrapped? The inside box, inner box is wrapped first, right? Inner box, inside box needs to be wrapped first, closed first, and the outer box will be closed later. So same thing, the inner for loop, it needs to be closed or wrapped first. Then outer for loop, which is the outer box, it needs to be closed later. You cannot do opposite way. So this is the pseudocode for this kind of output, and this is the corresponding program code in C++, Java, and C#. I like you to practice this program. Just change the print statement and print line statement. In all three languages now we know, right? How to write the print line in C++, how to in C# and how to in Java. And in order to do well in your test, please practice writing code on a piece of paper sometime, okay? Writing code on a piece of paper. So at this point, I'd like to recall you that we started this course by learning algorithm, right? But now we are not focusing algorithm much. But we are focusing algorithm but on our head, right? In our mind, right? Internally, we are applying our algorithm. For instance, when we discuss how to find the display number in reverse order, we did the algorithm in our mind, right? Because at this point we know how to develop an algorithm, right? So as many programs as you develop yourself, your brain will be good to develop your own algorithm. And later you will see that when you will take, before graduate, you will take algorithm analysis course, and then you will develop your own algorithm. Okay, whenever you know how to analyze algorithm, you can be able to write your own algorithm in your own way. So before you graduate, you must need to take those courses. I teach one of the senior level course, algorithmic analysis. That is called CS Computer Science 4306 maybe. So if you have like good foundation in this programming, then you will see those courses will be interesting for you. Although those are harder than these. Okay, so we mentioned that we will learn two additional things. There are those here, break and continue. There are two keywords in most languages. So these are used to strengthen our looping control statement. So as usual, the names infer that break. What do we say break? By using break or by saying break, that means we stop a repetition, right? Stop something that is going on, and we stop things, right? And but its opposite order is continue, right? What do you say by continue? Go ahead in English, right? Then keep going, right? So in keep going in English, natural English, in programming we say continue. And in stop, we say stop in our programming, in our natural English, we say a break. Okay? So these two are used with loop control statement. These cannot be used individually, separately. These are used with loop control statements. So we have some examples over here. you will see how to use this. For instance, this pseudocode, it says it has break. Okay, that means it is a traditional while loop, but within the while loop, it says, in the while loop, it says, if number greater or equal to 100, then break. That break means go outside of the, then break means stop continuation. So which is continuing over here? The while loop, right? While loop is making the continuation. So go out, break means go outside of the. Outside of the loop, okay? So you understand? So what does the break do? It terminates the loop in single word, you can remember, okay? Okay, and there is another thing is that is continue. That means keep going. Continue, what it does, it goes, it continue the loop. It does not, it does the opposite order of break. Because a break and continue is two opposite things. So for instance over here, if number equal to 5 or number equal to 6, then continue. That means if we say that I will add some numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 plus 2 plus 3, 4 plus 4 plus 7 plus 8, 9 plus 10. That means I don't like the number 5 and 6. I will add up all other numbers except 5 and 6. So in this case, I say that if number equal to 5 or number equal to 6, continue. That means do these things except number equal to 5 or number equal to 6. If number equal to 5 or 6, then continue. That means skip this, keep this. Continue means from here loop. Don't do this. So actually the symbol will be here. No. Okay, symbol will be here. Okay, we have a few more minutes, maybe 10 more minutes, and we have a few more slides. Let us go to the slides. Okay, so there is an example over here. There's some pseudocode and then some problems over here. I like you to practice these two programs. So let me explain. Let me explain what the. I'm sorry, it's out of charge. So its battery is down. Okay. So my microphone is not working. Okay, so there are two problems over here. So I like you to practice this program. So here it says write a pseudocoder program. Is just write a calculator program. Very simple calculator program. Then by starting this, you may guess what kind of programs are stored in a calculator. So nowadays you can purchase a calculator by $1 store, right? $1, right? Very tiny calculator, maybe you can get $1 or few dollars. So in the calculator there is a chip. The chip has a program, built-in program. That program has some small programs. That chip has some small program, right, like this. Okay, you may write that program, but the factories, they build calculators, they design or make calculator. They make like thousands or millions calculator in a day. So if it's tiny, they produce a lot and they make a little bit money, and in addition, ultimately they make some money. So this program, it will ask you how to add two numbers, at least two numbers, how to subtract a number from another number, how to multiply a number, or how to divide a number by another number, or quit. So these will be your choice or selection. add, subtract, multiply, divide, or quit. Okay, so that means it will ask you to give an option, for instance, to enter a character, that if you enter A, that it will take you to the add module, to that function. Okay, if you enter S, that means it will be understanding that you are on to make subtraction. It will take you there. If you enter multiply, then it will M, then it will take you to multiplication. If you say enter D, then it will take you to division operation, and then if you type in Q, then program will terminate. Okay, so there are multiple options over here. There are multiple ways you can do it. You can take a character type variable to control this program, where it will be going. If for addition is for subtraction, right? You can put a number. So instead, you can say 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction, 3 for multiplication, what this is, and 0 for quit or something. Okay, there are multiple ways, and then what it will do here, then enter a series of numbers where the operation will be applied. You can add multiple numbers to add. You can add, maybe subtract 2 numbers or series of numbers, one after another. You can multiply, you can divide. So then it has, at the end, the last sentence is important you need to understand. The program should continue asking for a number until the user enters 0. That means 0 will be your sentinel value. Remember that previous section, the last week or previous week, we discussed called a sentinel value that is used to control something. For instance, 0 will be, so sentinel value will be 0. That will quit your program. Okay, or it will be asking you to enter another number. Okay, so this code, it has some, this is code snippet. I like you, so when you practice programming, okay, do not jump into the solution first, even you get the solution in hand. Okay, try to understand the problem first. When you understand the problem, make a solution or develop an algorithm either on a piece of paper or in your head, in your mind. Then try to write down the code or pseudocode. As much as you can do it yourself. And then when you get stuck, then look at your solution. By this way, you learn yourself. You teach yourself. Otherwise, if you see the solution, copy and paste your code, boom, you submit your assignment, you will not be a good learner. Okay, so pseudocode is given over here. So please convert this pseudocode into an actual program code. I believe if you practice the previous programs, then you should be able to do it. So here is less than, greater than. You can say not equal to 0. Even you can say not equal to 0 over here. Not equal 0. It will work. So here same thing. Not equal 0. You can say. Okay. So there is another program. So there is another modification, a little bit modification of the previous program. Okay, so it has use of sentinel value. So here 0 will be our sentinel value. If you press 0, it will quit. Okay. Okay, so this is the end of module 4. So module 4. So module 4 is repetition structure. So please practice this program that I asked you. Okay, so in our next lecture, I will discuss with one-dimensional array, start with one-dimensional array, and then you will see that we will have some time to repeat our selection and repetition structure while we use array. Okay, or if you have something that you like me to repeat, please bring it to our lecture. Okay, I usually do some review at the beginning of every lecture, but unless you bring something specifically, I will go through quickly whatever I think is important. That may not reach to your problem, right? So if you have any problem, please feel free to bring that to my attention. So whenever you see that, actually you will get more interest whenever we discuss method. You will see that you will be able to writing a good program. You are learning something new. Okay, but still you will be array operation is another good interesting thing to learn. Okay, the remainder is that February 18 will be your test. Test will be one line in D2L. You can take it from home or from a library or in a good place. You need to have Wi-Fi connection, good internet connection, and you need to have your own webcam. Okay, so as the requirement of this course, we mentioned that you need to have your webcam. One more reminder, so you see that at the beginning. Okay, so respondents setup quiz. This quiz has nothing to achieve point, but if you start this one and complete this one, it will show you some direction how to download the program. It's called Lockdown Browser program. So if you download, please do it ahead of time, hopefully by this week, okay, and do it in the office hour, during office hour. If you face any issue here, you need to contact to UITS. I cannot help you. In few cases I observed that few students got problem in installing this in their MacBook or their computer. The computer, they did not have enough privilege to download and install new program. So please practice, do it. It will take just 15 minutes or 10 minutes. Please do it right away. Okay, before you start the test, you must complete this one. So please take the test on time and do not wait for the last minute, please. So on the test day, there will be no class. You will take your test during your class time. Okay. Okay. So, but we have before our test, we have two more lectures, right? So come this Thursday and come next Tuesday, right? Okay. Has anyone any question?